Welcome, people. I know that this channel was initially built upon the idea that I will review movies, series, cartoons, whatever you wanted me to. However, we are trying to move in the variety direction this time, and right now I'm gonna try a new format where you are gonna see my face. I'm just gonna be talking about the movie, tell you my honest opinions. Of course, I have some notes that I wrote down while I was watching the movie. However, I think that this way it will be a bit more personal to you guys because you can now see me, my reactions, and I will try to get through this without cutting much, okay? And no, right now we are not talking about ourselves. Yes, we are talking about the video. So, let's talk about the greatest horror movie of all time. This is definitely the horror movie of all time. The sequel to Winnie-the-Pooh. Of course, the horror movie. Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey. I'm gonna be looking here a bit, just so I can see my face better. There's my notes. I'm gonna be reading them. So first of all, I would like to say that the costumes were way better than in the first movie, obviously, because they had a bigger budget. Pretty sure the first movie was around $50,000 and this one was around $1 million. Well, not just around, but it was $1 million, so you know it was gonna be a bit better, obviously. The lore was better. Now we got some explanation to Christopher Robin's background, because we didn't really see him in the very first movie. We just got a mention of him. And I would also like to add the fact that the movie is extremely gory. So much so that you can actually call it torture porn at this point. And it's pretty much up there with Terrifier and Terrifier 2. So let me get into the story. First of all, there are 3 girls in something that I can call an RV, or I don't even know. Like, they're just outside, they are playing with a Ouija board. Okay, they are talking about the animals, everything that has happened in the woods around them, or a few years back. Some, aka the things that happened in the very first movie. And the animals actually start to gang up on them. Aka, by animals, I mean Owl and Pooh, because in this movie we can finally see Owl as well. Actually, we will see Tiger later too, but that's towards the end of the movie. So, these girls, they are getting killed off one by one by Pooh. Owl is not really doing much, she's just scaring them, if I remember correctly. And Pooh kills one of the girls in such a gruesome way that it's incredible. So, first of all, Pooh just goes up to the girls, one of the girls, and he just starts breaking his arm and legs in the opposite direction. He straight up does that to every single one of his limbs. And afterwards, obviously, well, kills them all. But that was just extremely gruesome. And, you know, once you reach a point in a movie where you have to make it that gory to be good, to be called a good horror movie, then you start to think about whether or not they did it with practical effects, whether or not they did it with, I don't know, CGI. But most of the effects in the movie were actually practical effects, which I can very much appreciate. So let me read my notes, because we are never getting through this video. So, we see Owl and Pooh at the start of the movie, okay? Christopher Robin is a medical assistant and is basically seen as a crazy guy for telling people that the animals are real in Ashdown, aka in the forest. He has a girlfriend, invites her to a costume party, which is most likely foreshadowing to, you know, something happening to them at the costume party. Especially because you are dressed up, so people won't assume that the animals there are gonna be dressed up. They will assume that they are people. Owl seems to be the master, so-called master of the animals, and he sends out Pooh and Piglet to hunt down some of the people who got into the woods. These people who got into the woods are actually people with shotguns who go after the animals who kill their girlfriends, that I mentioned already. And they meet their tragic fate. They are some buffoons, I'm telling you that. Piglet is shot point blank by one of the hunters, but Pooh comes in to finish them off by fucking putting a metal rod through one of the guy's head, which looks fucking amazing gore-wise, but thankfully that guy still had enough in him to let Pooh know that he's not a fan, because the guy was literally having a metal rod through his head, and thank God that he was able to blurt out a singular "fuck you." Such amazing writing, I'm gonna tell you that. Turns out one of the guys survives from the free and is brought into a hospital where Christopher Robin works, but he's in a critical condition with his face being almost blown off. That was also practical effect, which I really liked. Foreshadowing is quite obvious in the movie. There's a dishwasher in the kitchen with knives pointed up inside, probably showcasing that somebody will manage to stumble into them, and of course, turning them upside down would have been a very hard 10-second chore, but I guess procrastination will get the better of people. Because, of course, instead of falling into knives, what could you do? What could you do on a Sunday night? Could you make a video about Winnie-the-Pooh? Because that's what I'm doing. That's definitely what I'm doing for you people. That was pretty darn bad. Okay. Moving on. Christopher's little sister has a bear plushie that for some reason is completely fucked up, has a ton of stitches with innards showing, which gives a... I mean, who gives a kid a plushie like that? Like, imagine you just go into a store, you buy a regular plushie. I can't even imagine. They either bought a regular plushie and just turned it into this fuckfest of a disabled monster for the kid, or they just simply bought a plushie like that. I know you can buy stuff like that, but why would you buy a kid like something like that? Especially when there are rumors going around that there were killer bears in the area. I mean, Pooh. Sometimes some things don't make sense in the movie. Like, how is a little girl not scared of that? Interesting. It's just cliche, okay? It may be foreshadowing that the animals will let her be, because of course we gotta make things more cliche. You know, that's how we make a good horror movie. We see a random kid with his father in the woods, looking at birds, and after the kid spots Owl, he gets scared and runs away, but while he's not looking, Owl straight up flies down to the dead with the speed of sound and just casually rips the guy apart with Pooh. So, imagine this. There's a random scene, Owl comes down like a hawk, actually, not even an owl, just comes down, takes the dead away, and then we cut to a random arm floating down a river, and there's just a little bridge over the river. Pooh is standing there, Piglet is obviously not, because he was just shot in the face point blank with a shotgun, and Owl is there as well. And the guy is just completely dissected. You wouldn't even notice that it's a guy, because it's like some fucking animal died there. It's insane. That's why I'm saying that the gore, they up the gore a lot. But the practical effects are nice. At least that part of the movie is nice. Okay, I'm gonna say that. After this, we get a flashback to Christopher as a child, being with Pooh, and for some reason, he's not scared from Pooh casually eating the innards of a random animal. He's like completely bloody. His hands, his face, everything. But he just doesn't care. I don't get it. Kids in these movies are something else. I'm telling you. If I was a kid like that, I would have been shitting bricks for days. Pooh is wearing the same clothes in the flashback as he is in the future as well, which means that he either went on a shopping spree in the nearest clothing store at night, or his clothes have decided to grow with him, because that's just how this works, I guess. You know, when there are typical cartoon characters who wear the same clothing even after like a few years in the future, and it makes you think, do the clothes grow with them? Where am I supposed to get magical clothes like that, huh? Because maybe in 1 year, I will be bigger, okay? Maybe I will go to the gym more. Maybe something will happen. Maybe, I don't know, I will become obese. And what will I do then? With the clothes I like? Or if I can't get them in a bigger size? Have you ever thought about that? Give it a thought. You won't be able to sleep. There's also a love story with Christopher and his girlfriend, but it's the most nonsense thing ever, but it's still a better love story than Twilight. So it's fine. After they finish talking on the phone, we see that the kid his girlfriend is babysitting has sociopathic tendencies, and they unironically play the first movie in the TV, which technically is a fourth wall break, but at the same time it's not, because they say it's a movie about what Christopher did, while he didn't really do it, because they don't really have proof, you know. So, but it's different? I don't know, man. I really don't know. But Pooh says something in the TV that sounds both like it's porn time and it's Pooh time. And but it's hard to understand. But afterwards they just put in these random ass lightning effects around his face. It looks like when Thor goes to pick up the hammer, he just lifts Mjolnir and you know the lightning just comes around. I guess Pooh had a different arsenal in that movie. Also, can I just say that Owl's face reminds me of the Penguin from Batman Returns? But maybe that's just because of the big nose and the wrinkly face. Because that happens. The police go and investigate the woods, but since they are British cops, they are obviously the most incompetent fools ever. Pooh straight up puts his hand through one of the cops and scares one of them by saying, "Boo." Which is kind of comical, but of course, they kill them all afterwards. Also, I like how okay they are with the fact that Piglet was just straight up blasted in the face, but the animals don't even mention it. At all. They don't even say a single thing about it. "Oh no, poor Piglet. Oh no, this happened to you. Oh no, where are you?" Nothing. But actually that will get explained towards the end of the movie, and I will get to that. Trust me, I will get to that. It's just kind of interesting. Also, Christopher has PTSD because one of his childhood friends were abducted. So that's also good. Apparently everyone is just an asshole to Christopher because they still think that he was the one behind the murders, and thankfully after 15 minutes of nothing happening, I was bored out of my mind. We get to the guy in the hospital who writes down everything for Christopher before revealing his face from under the bandages, and holy fucking shit, he looks like a budget version of Deadpool. Except the fact that half of his face is missing. It's missing. It's just completely gone. I'm surprised that he even survived that. Because I thought that he was dead the first time, because pretty sure he got like blasted in the face by the shotgun as well. Something like that. It's kind of fuzzy now. Some guy had a party which Christopher wanted to attend, but in the end decided to go home with his girlfriend because they were assholes there. The girlfriend was there at the party, and when Christopher arrived, everyone just started to tell him about how he's a murderer, and how they don't even care about what he has to say. It was like tens of years ago, 10 to 15 years ago, and they still can't let it go because they think that he did them when he was a child. Or, I don't even know the lore anymore, because he might not have been a child back then. I don't know, man. It's kind of messed up. But after the party is over, we see a guy showering. Ours starts vomiting outside or something, because he makes the gargling sound effects. Maybe he was gobbling on some nuts. Who knows? Then he goes and attacks the guy. Actually vomits in his face this time, but his vomit is acidic for some reason, and the guy's entire face melts off before he finishes him off with his pretty little nails. He had some very good manicure done on him. Christopher talks with the hospital janitor, who has the thickest Irish accent you could ever imagine. Okay, it was funny. The guy was really nailing the Irish accent. Well, of course, because he is Irish and the people who made the movie are British. I am not gonna try to reenact it because I wouldn't be able to do it, but oh my god, I was laughing a bit. It was funny, okay? It was funny to me. Not to say that there's something wrong with the Irish or British accent, because there's not, okay? It was just funny to me. Let's just get down to business now, okay? Let's not talk about that. I am not a racist, don't say that. I will find you. And the janitor, with the accent, of course, who has? The janitor reveals something about Dr. Gallup. By the way, I have no idea who the fuck Dr. Gallup is, and I'm pretty sure that he wasn't mentioned up until now. But he was experimenting with kids, combining their DNA with animals' DNA, apparently, which caused the mutation of these animals. So actually they aren't animals, they were humans, but now they are these human-animal mutant hybrids who just want to kill for some reason. Because why not? The janitor actually killed the doctor, and apparently the kids managed to revive on their own from the ground, so this basically means that Pooh and his friends are actually mutant hybrid zombies, which was a reveal I wasn't expecting, because what the fuck are you supposed to expect from a Winnie-the-Pooh horror movie? Like, genuinely. How was I supposed to think that these animals were actually humans? I mean, this was a nice twist I didn't really see coming, except when the janitor started talking about DNA and shit. By that point, it was kind of obvious. Mr. Janitor's wife took the kids and went away, which is, cliche as well. Completing the cliche, but he managed to gather all the evidence that he killed the doctor and actually burned down the place, but after he tells Christopher all of these things, he shoots himself in the mouth. And it's revealed that he wrote a little suicide note, which now we can treat, because it's full of blood. Tragic. The janitor that nobody talked to will be missed. Rest in peace, janitor of the Winnie-the-Pooh horror movie. Christopher's girlfriend and the kids she's babysitting found out about Pooh being in their house and decide to hide from the bear, but he's very resilient and pretty much determined to put his musty-ass hands on them, which, by the way, look very rubbery. I mean, the hands actually look like they are rubber gloves. Like, the very cheap kind that you buy to like fucking clean a toilet. And they just had some veins put on there. And of course nails, because every single animal just had to have long nails in the movie, because why not? Because that was their thing. That was their thing, okay? They had to have some kind of claws. They decide to run away from him. They call the police, but of course the British police force is back at it again. And with their amazing skills at solving issues, they don't really do much. They just send in a poor police girl who gets her arm ripped off. After which Pooh beats her up with her own arm and at the end kills her by sticking her own hand in her mouth. Turns out, the doctor knew his animals and theorizes that they were revived thanks to the axolotl DNA in them, and I'm gonna be honest, this reminds me of Gravity Falls. Cause like, you know how there was this thing with the axolotls in the last few episodes? I don't care that I spoiled it, there's no way you haven't seen Gravity Falls. If you haven't, then go and watch that. And don't watch this shit show of a movie, okay? Cause I did it, so y'all don't have to. Turns out Christopher's sister, whose name is by the way Bunny, but I didn't mention that, cause why would I? Might just be a psychopath because she casually decided to cut off one of her plushie's legs for some reason. You know, the same bear that had like his intestines out and one eye was missing and the other was popping out. I don't know, man. How can you give a child a toy like that? Oh, and yeah, Pooh really is going after Christopher's family this time, just as we suspected before. But it's not like we needed a rocket scientist to discover this. Of course, the flip knife that I mentioned earlier helped Pooh take care of Christopher's mom. Who could have seen this coming, seriously? Because wasn't it? It was so obvious. Like, sometimes the movie did camera shots that they were turned in such a direction that it was very obvious that things were gonna happen this way. Pooh is determined to find Christopher, however, as we suspect, he might have taken Bunny hostage because she's nowhere to be seen. There's another party in the same place as before, girls dancing in a cage, but thanks to the fact that it's a costume party, nobody suspects Pooh and Owl there. Owl mentions Tiger too, so we can only hope that he will also show up. I'm gonna give a ton of praise for the sequence of Pooh massacring everyone, because he does one of the coolest fucking kills I've ever seen in a horror movie. He killed one of the guys with a pole through the back of his throat. Okay, that wasn't a big thing, okay. But he has another weapon in stock, and that is his bear trap on a chain. You know, the one that he used to smash the girl's head at the start of the movie. And what he does is he throws the bear trap onto a girl's head, straight up rips it off, Scorpion style, then hits the head like he's playing baseball. That was a bit comical, but holy fuck, it looked good. It looked very good. And after that, he just goes on a killing rampage, literally. There's a bit of a sequence stop with Christopher Robin talking with his girlfriend, blah blah blah. However, after that, we see Pooh chase down on some poor people left behind, down on all four, but they managed to escape. Right after, I honestly thought that Pooh managed to go after them, but turns out it was actually Tiger, who for some reason has a very similar mask to Pooh. I guess that's what happens when you turn most of the animals into zombies, right? And, you know, Pooh is yellow, Tiger was for some reason also yellow, well, he was supposed to be orange, and there were no stripes at all. It was interesting. He playfully comes down saying eeny meeny miny moe, then proceeds to slash up all the survivors. He eviscerates a guy by lifting him up, but afterwards his intestines straight up look like some sort of sausages left on the ground. Like you gutted a fucking pig or something. But then he goes after a girl who has some wings on her back, and I'm not kidding you, he claws at her at least 100 times before she dies. Of course. Pooh joins the party by reenacting his favorite sport yet again, straight up smashing people's head in with a baseball bat. Tiger blinds a girl, then proceeds to trick her into falling down a ladder that has been conveniently placed on the floor, somehow, I don't know how, but they decided that putting some fucking ladders on the putting some ladders on the floor was much better than, and much safer than actually putting stairs, because there were stairs down there as well, but she just fell down and broke her neck. Lovely. Lovely, actually. It was gruesome. I'm not gonna say that, but, you know. Also, Tiger talks a lot. There was a funny sequence when he tries stabbing a girl from under, and he tells her, dance bitch, while continuously stabbing. But after the girl falls, he brutally stabs her all over the place, which was not shown, but, you know, you can guess that it was pretty gruesome. Christopher arrives at the scene, and Tiger greets him, but he decides to shoot him in the stomach. My guy came to the party with a Glock against animals that can survive some of the most brutal beatings ever. Like, bring a fucking bazooka to the convention or something. I don't know, a shotgun, M15, an AK-47, anything that packs a bigger punch. Bring Mike Tyson. Pooh is still hunting people down, and he punches a girl so hard that her entire school gets caved in. Holy fuck, that looked good. That looked really good. I mean, good. Okay, tastefully good is what I'm gonna say. Okay, obviously not good in the way that it's a good thing to see something like that happen. But it looked good in the movie, effects-wise. In the final 10 minutes of the movie, an epic battle ensues. Christopher Robin decides to go up against Pooh with some bar he found from a car. But Pooh has a chainsaw and is a supernatural being, so what did you think, my guy? Pooh's chainsaw is lit on fire, which is a weapon I never thought I wanted to see, but it looked cool as heck. Christopher's girlfriend arrives, who is called Lexi, by the way, is running through the forest while having to deal with Owl. Meanwhile, Pooh corners Christopher but decides not to kill him because through sheer luck they are brought back to the place where the kids managed to resurface after they were buried. Christopher tells Pooh that he's sorry that he got kidnapped because he was Billy, of course, the kid that got kidnapped. But Pooh attacks Christopher yet again. Lexi arrives on the scene. Pooh tries killing her by pushing her face into the still ongoing chainsaw that wasn't working 30 seconds ago, by the way. Yet, somehow, without Pooh touching the chainsaw, it was just spinning on its own. And even afterwards, Pooh still doesn't touch the chainsaw. He absolutely did not touch the chainsaw. And it was just going on its own. How do you manage to do that, movie? That's not how chainsaws work. I am pretty sure that's not how chainsaws work. Yet you somehow did that. Interesting, very interesting. But you know, we are not gonna criticize it because, of course, the movie only had a small budget of $1 million. That's fine. But ultimately, Christopher just picks out an axe from his inventory, I guess, because he just had one in his pocket and just, you know, had to reach down there very good, and he just remembered that he actually had a weapon on him. Interesting. And he shouts out to Pooh. Pooh ironically poops his overalls, I'm guessing, because, you know, he got scared. And I'm gonna tell you that I actually laughed out loud at this moment in the movie because as Christopher is running towards him to bring the axe down straight into his dome, Pooh says the iconic line of, "Oh bother." You know, the one that he always says, "Oh bother." In this very low, raspy voice that was just so funny to me that it just made me laugh out loud. And this was seriously the only moment in the movie that made me laugh out. And that's a bit sad when you're making a parody, don't you think? For some ungodly reason, by the way, there was an open grave on the ground and Pooh just straight up falls into it after Christopher splits his head open, revealing the most plastic-looking amalgamation ever because apparently Pooh doesn't even have a brain. Interesting. To no one's surprise, Pooh left the little girl alone, probably because of her plushie. I'm guessing, because it's never explained why. Because they were like standing like this, face to face. Pooh was here, the little girl here. She just looked up, and that's it. Nothing else. She was just left alone, I guess, after that. Because don't tell me that the little girl managed to escape that big ass fucking bear. Because no, I don't believe that. But the police brought her straight to Christopher and it's revealed that she was hiding in the house all along. Well, as I said, despite meeting face to face with Pooh, but I'm not gonna argue about it anymore. She finally throws away that god ugly plushie that she had as they are headed home, and some very loud and unfitting music goes on during the credits. That was the worst music choice for a movie ever. It didn't even need the music at the end. I don't know why they chose that music. I don't know why they chose music at all. It was bullshit. There is an after credit scene with Pooh sitting in an armchair as Owl tells him that he truly is a bear without a brain. Literally, because we see his head open and there's no brain inside. And it's revealed to us that he created some kind of piss-looking concoction in a jar that manages to revive the dead. So yeah, we are still getting some more Pooh sooner or later. But we already knew that because next year there's gonna be a movie titled The Poohniverse Monsters Assemble, which I am looking forward to because I, for some reason, really like bad movies, especially bad horror movies. Speaking of the Poohniverse, in the credit sequence, we see some pretty nasty but cool-looking drawings of all the characters who will be featured in the Monsters Assemble movie, which I will show you, but I'm not gonna because I don't wanna risk a copyright strike. Go watch the movie for yourself. There are so many sites on the internet where you can watch movies for free, okay? That's what I'm gonna tell you. You can just do that. If you're gonna send me a message, I'm even gonna send you the site, I swear. Just let me know. We see a radioactive Bambi, some fat ass monster who I have no idea about, by the way. He just had a long nose, that's all. And it, like, fat as fuck, couldn't even fit through one of my cabinet doors. Even the entire thing. He was bigger than your mom. which is, whew. There was a very butchered version of Pinocchio, and we see the Pooh gang, so Tiger, Owl, Pooh, and Piglet, because he was revived as well. They revived Rabbit as well now, so now the gang is complete, I guess. We see a version of Peter Pan as well that looks oddly like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, which, like, it looked like he had leper, okay? And on the final page, we see almost all of the monsters of the universe assembled, reminding us that if we won't die until 2025, then we will witness one of the most insane crossovers ever. Like, come on. Marvel, you have nothing on these movies, okay? Infinity War, nothing. Endgame. Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine, you can throw that shit in the trash, you can throw it in the garbage, you can do whatever you want with it. Swallow it, spit it, gargle up on these nuts. No, that's not gonna be good. Because this movie, this right there, this is gonna be a movie. This is gonna be a movie worth looking forward to. Don't tell me you're not looking forward to it, because I know you are. I am. I'm gonna sit here and review it. You're not gonna hear me complain about it. But, okay, anyway, this was a sequel to Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey. Now, this format is different. I know, okay? We're trying out some new things. Let me know what you like more. This turned out into a little bit longer video than it was intended to. Because, turns out, I managed to write so many fucking words. I managed to write 2,300 words somehow. And these are only supposed to be notes. I might have went into detail a bit too much. Anyway, let me know what you thought about me doing things like this. I'm gonna change it up. I'm still gonna work on it. It's just a bit more easier like this, a bit more personal, as I said. Much better to talk to you guys freely like this, because you can see my raw reaction, you can see my face, you can see whatever I'm saying when I'm smiling and stuff. And it's gonna be mostly unedited. So, let me know what you thought. If we should continue doing this, or I should go back to how I used to make my videos, or if you want to see a mix of these, because I'm pretty sure once I will get down to how I'm supposed to do this, it's gonna be more enjoyable to watch and better than just simply listening to some fucking balding ass guy talk about some shitty horror movie. But you know, we can figure things out. Okay, we are smart people. We are smart fellas. We are not fart smellers. We are smart fellas. Okay, but anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next shitty movie probably. Or you might see some other forms of content from me. Some new videos. Some more forms. I am gonna be trying now, okay? We are doing variety this year. This year is gonna be all about variety. We are gonna work on it. And you are gonna come along the journey. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.